All right, let's get things going here. I think we'll have a few more trickling as we go. But welcome everybody. Welcome to From Paper Stacks to AI Powered Digital Workflows. We're excited to have you with us. I think it's going to be a really fun and informative webinar. I think I'll start off on my end of doing a bit of introductions. Who I am. My name is John Iwanis. I'm the Director of Sales at Spot Solutions here, and we have a good team to present with you. Renessa, I'll let you introduce yourself as well.
Thank you, John. Hi, everyone. I'm Renata Alfeche. I'll be one of your presenters today. I'm a project manager and a business analyst at Spot Solutions.
Thanks, Renessa. Yeah, so I think some of you may have met us before, some may be new, but you'll have access and some contacts on my side as well as we go through the webinar if you have some questions about any of the topics today. So I think the next thing we'll slide forward is what we're going to go through. So we're going to touch upon some of the benefits and values, what we're going to go through on the webinar, talk about some stories, some structured document stories, as it says there, and story 2, go into other details about how this applies to potentially your company. We'll talk about some consulting aspects, and the third piece would be another story. So there's going to be a lot of examples of how this fits in. I know there's going to be a lot of questions on how this may fit with your company moving forward. So the next step within the webinar, we're going to take a look at benefits and value, and there's a criteria piece as well. I think it's always good. So Russ, if you want to pop that up, that's great. Where is the benefit and value in this? So that there's an aspect of looking at this from an automation perspective. So minimizing that manual entry, reducing kind of that potential human error if you're doing paper-based transactions, paper-based forms, manuals, these kind of things, where our goal here is kind of looking at automated data capture, automating the repetitive tasks that you're going to be doing with those paper-based transactions within your company. Centralized repository, so having like a single point of truth to find those documents, not necessarily having a stack of papers in different areas where you can't find things. This will be an area where you can access these documents in a very simple, easy access. It doesn't matter where you are to access this information. And then also Microsoft, there's M365 tools that you may have today where we can build upon, and that environment kind of really becomes integrated. It helps with the whole process of automating the paper stacks. Speed is a big part of this when it comes to benefits and value. Obviously, there's going to improve performance. The quality is going to change. Your service quality is going to be improved as well. So there's quite a few different areas. The benefits and value are going to slightly differ depending on your company and what you need, but ultimately, taking that manual entry and automating it opens up a lot of great areas and a lot of value. Moving to the criteria aspect, we're looking at paper-based, as we mentioned several times there, and it says it in the title. So you're paper-based, maybe you have boxes of papers that need to be digitized, or maybe you have forms. There's many things that we'll get into a little bit later on what may apply for your criteria, but it is pretty straightforward when it comes to criteria. But printer and scanner is a piece of this as well. Our partner Automation One can provide more details on that as well. What works well, what is the best hardware that works well for this particular process. And as we mentioned before, Microsoft or M365 licensing aspect. So you may have M365 in place today, which I believe a lot of you do. So you're going to be leveraging that piece of technology. And as we mentioned before, they're reducing repetition and streamlining tasks. These are things that are going to be motivating for you. So I will say, as I go through these benefit and value and criteria, there is a Q&A as we go forward. So feel free to type any questions in there as we go, because I'll be monitoring that. In addition, you do have your mic there. You can actually jump on and ask questions as well. So there's a couple ways to engage with us. And as I said, further on, there'll be some other areas after and offline you can connect with Spot Solutions as well as Automation One. Before we move on to the next bit, any questions on the benefits and value or criteria that we've gone through so far? Okay, that's great. I will now shift things on to Renessa, and we'll get into a little bit more as to these stories that we were talking about earlier.
Thank you, John. So thank you for joining us today. So we are going to show you how AI Builder works. AI Builder is actually an AI solution within your Microsoft environment. It's integrated into your Power Platform. It lets you either train your own AI model or you can use one of the pre-built models, which I'm going to show you in the next few minutes here. And also, just so you know, this session is designed for business users. We're not going into technical deep dive. And again, feel free to ask any questions as we go along. And also, the goal of this session is to help you see the potential value that AI can bring to your team or to your day-to-day operations, especially if you have physical documents or stacks of those, a stack of papers that you need to be integrated into your business process. So let's go over a bit about AI models in Microsoft, the AI Builder models. There are two of them, pre-built model and then the custom model. The pre-built is it's ready to use. You already have it in your environment. Microsoft has already trained them, these models, on thousands of training documents across different industries. You do not need to train them. It's ready to use. You can just connect it to your data and add it to your workflows. The second one is custom model. So you have the opportunity here to build your own AI model. You train them. However, this requires you to provide your own training documents, and then you label those documents. And then once it's ready, you can publish it for your users to integrate it into their workflows. And this custom model is really intended for your unique business requirements. And you can always retrain it whenever you have additional documents in the future. And also, both of these models, they detect text and images from your documents or even from your images, even if those are printed or handwritten. So it's a matter of training your model for different types of structure and layout. So let me show you quickly what these are in your environment. So here I'm on the Microsoft environment. Some of you may already familiar with this, but you will see these cards here are actually pre-built model that you can use right now. And once you add it to your workflows, it runs right away, and because it's already has those training documents. Or if you want to use custom model, there is one here where you can continue adding training documents and it learn more as you provide more samples. So how AI model learns? So AI model learns based on your sample documents that you provided to your model. And it also learns from the fields that you labeled. So whenever you upload or scanned your documents and it goes into your SharePoint library, what it does, it compares the layout and the text patterns with what it learned. And then it predicts, where those fields are most likely located or positioned in your document. And then it will just extract that data and then it will be displayed. It could be on your Power Apps, or it will be stored in your SharePoint as metadata value. So essentially, your AI model gets smarter the more diverse samples you provide to that model. So these AI models can work with all types of documents that you may have, anything that's sitting on your desk right now or in boxes. But to simplify those different types of documents, there are three actually that we can use: structured, semi, and unstructured. Structured, these are consistent, they have consistent layout, they have predictable positions. It's easy to train AI with this one. And because data is always in exact position, like for example, if it's forms, you may have like a yes or no answer, or there's a name and date. It's always the same because it's always in the exact position. And examples here, like any types of forms that you have, checklists and whatnot. The second one is semi-structured. They are mostly consistent, but varies slightly. So AI will look at AI will analyze the layout of those varying documents, and also it will check for keyword detection. So examples here are invoices, receipts, POs. As you know, invoices, receipts, POs, they all have amount, total, maybe tax, date. They're all there. However, they're just positioned differently, and also the structure is a bit different. So that's why it's semi-structured. The third one is unstructured. It means there is no fixed layout. It relies heavily on the natural language processing and also the context clues in order for it to find keywords and also to extract data. So NLP is really, it helps AI to read and understand human language, and then it can extract insights and predictions for you. So you might have right now, maybe the reason why you're joining us today, you might have any existing paper stacks in boxes or on your desk that need to be scanned or digitized, or maybe moving forward, you still need to rely on those physical, documents, paper-based documents, because it's still part of your business workflow. So today we've prepared. Yes.
Vanessa, I'm just going to jump in for a moment here. We just had a question that came in through here from Jocelyn. The question came mentioning, does the source info have to be paper, or can it be tons of old Excel documents?
Yes, it can be tons of old Excel documents. So any types of documents. Good question. It could be images as well. Like you take pictures of a license plate or an ID. So it could be anything. Because AI doesn't just only read text, there is also object detection. Okay. Any other questions? No?
I think.
All right. So we've prepared common business scenario today, or stories for each of these document types, so you can see them in action. And again, we're using Power Platform, SharePoint, AI Builder, given that those documents are already scanned. So for story one, our first story is about structured documents. So let's start by looking at some of these common paper-based forms used across different industries. So we have here from schools, nonprofit, marine, legal, finance, construction, police and law enforcement, municipalities, ministries, and a lot more. And even in today's digital world, many of these forms are still part of your everyday processes. We still rely on these, and that's fine. And also, once they are collected, they still need to be manually entered and processed in your system. So for story one, Keys Property Group, they manage rental properties. They process dozens of inspection forms and work orders each month. And these forms can be handwritten, right? And they have to send it back to the office to manually review those forms and identify if there are any repairs needed. And then they have to make phone calls to schedule repair and monitor those repair requests and see if they've been completed. So managing all of these aspects here are very time consuming. Reviewing those forms isn't probably the only responsibility that the admin would do on a day-to-day basis. So, and also it will cause significant delays, especially if there is urgent repair that needs to be done right away. And, before long, papers pile up on your desks in boxes or even tucked away in archived rooms. And, some of those paper documents that you already have in your office right now might already been processed. However, you still need to scan them, right, for record keeping and for compliance and for also protection. You don't want to lose them, or there's like theft or damage, right? You still need to digitize them. And you really need to get those time back to focus more on your valuable work. So our goal here for Story One for Keys Property Group is to really streamline the inspection process and their work order management. And all of these four high-level um, solutions or initiatives can be achieved using AI, workflows, and SharePoint. So this is the high-level solution that we propose. So essentially, the inspection checklist, those forms that they collect, they filled out and collect every month, they will be scanned in bulk. And then the AI will extract key details and save them into your SharePoint inspection list, given that you already have your AI model that reads through and finds what specific fields it needs to extract. And then the great thing here too is if an inspection requires a work order, the system will automatically create one, and it also notifies the trade via email. So it's just based on the data extracted from scanning your documents, right? And then because it's all centralized, the admin can just monitor all the work order if it's been completed or not. And then we can also add a post-repair auto-send survey. So once the trade has marked that request completed, then it can send out a survey to either maybe the tenant or the property management just to check if the service is good and it's completed. And you also have the option to include AI sentiment analysis, where your AI model will analyze those survey responses and categorize them. Either is it a positive response, neutral, or negative. So essentially, the AI sentiment it detects nuances of emotions if the responses, if it's angry, sarcasm, happiness, if it's happy or frustrated. It depends on the survey that you create. And then at the end of the process is you can run a report based on the data points from all of the process at the top here. Okay, so let's see how this works. Let me just jump into our SharePoint library. So we have the suite inspection forms. So we'll just assume that we scan the inspection form, and once it's scanned, the system can auto reroute that form in the target library. In this case, we have the suite inspection forms. So as you can see here quickly, this is the document status completed, meaning it's already been processed by AI. We have the date of inspection, the unit inspected, and then these are the issues reported based on the form. And I'm going to show you what that form looks like. And there is also, it captures it could be handwritten or printed comments. These are like subjective type comments. So I'm just going to upload one of the inspection form. Pretend that it's scanning. And so now the process is in progress. It means that the AI model automatically kicks in and begins reading the document. This usually takes less than 30 seconds for AI to complete the process. But while we are waiting, let's take a look at that document that's being processed. Maybe I'll just open the local copy. It's right here. So this is the one that I uploaded. This is a structured form. Everything is just the same and standard. There is a date of inspection, unit inspected, and these are the checklists for the inspection. So for example, if there is a cluttered debris, you just mark it check. That means you need someone to clean it, right? If the carpet is ripped, it's checked. That means somebody has to come in and fix the carpet. And then smoke detectors and so on. This is a bit tricky though, because here, if we put fire extinguisher present, that means there is nothing to fix. It can still be marked as checked. So again, we have to train AI to understand what those check boxes means. Scroll down here, there's more check boxes, and there is also comments down here, and this can be handwritten as well. For demo purposes, I did not capture all of the checkboxes, just a few of them. So let's take a look at the library. So as you can see, the status has been completed. It's been processed by AI. Let's look at the data captured and stored here in the metadata. So we have the date inspected already captured, the unit, and these are the issues reported, not necessarily issues, but based on those checkboxes. They're all in here. And this is the comment there too. So now the next is, if there is a repair required based on this metadata, the system automatically creates a work order. There is a separate work order tracking over here where it categorizes the issues that were found or reported into trades, I guess. And then so it's easy to track and prioritize them. As you can see, it shows here in the created date, it just created a minute ago, 3 issues, one for the handyman, plumbing, and appliance repair. It's for suite 502. And then you have the kitchen here, kitchen oven, sink, and these are the list of those reported issues. And the work order is work order status open, and you can change that assign to later if you need to. And then admin doesn't need to make phone calls to these guys. Emails are already sent respectively to those trades. But for demo purposes, all of them come to me. So we have an email that went to handyman. A new work order has been created. The email here can be customized. And then there is a link to open the work order. Here's another one for plumbing and another one for the appliance repair. So if we click on this link, it takes them back to the work order, showing only items related to them. And they can go in here and update that work order status. And then, as I mentioned in the in here, where once they mark it as completed, the work order, then they can send out a survey or a notification that it's been completed, and then you can add more process to it. And then you can generate a report. You can use Power BI or any other reporting tools you may have. Any questions?
It looks like we have a question in the Q&A chat from Karen. Are the documents scanned as one document?
No, it will be scanned depending on the type of scanner you have. It should be a different file per checklist or per form. Any other question? No? So, oh yeah, there's another one, Bev.
Will you be going over how you train this AI tool to do the job you just showed us?
Yes, I can quickly show it to you. Let me show you. Let me jump into the model. So these are the 3 models that I use for this demo. Let's look at the inspection checklist. You know what? Because it's a demo, I don't want to make. I don't want to open this because I don't want to affect any of that. But let's just use open one of the pre-built model here. Maybe this one, invoices. So this is how you train AI. When you upload a document, you label the fields that you want AI model to extract. For example, in this case, well, this is an invoice, not a form. If you want to extract the invoice date, you just draw a box around that data and do the same thing for other types of data within this document. And then you upload another type of document. You draw a line around it, again, exactly the same information. It's the text pattern that we are aiming for, which is the date. It could be a merchant name, merchant address, description, tax amount. So you do all these, And then AI will learn these patterns and the layout, different layouts that you fed to AI. Bev, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So the takeaway here, the business value for this structured documents is a quick turnaround. If you can imagine, as soon as the inspection form is scanned, work order is already requested, they may have scheduled it today on the same day, right? And also there's better visibility because everything is accessible anywhere, and you can also track the status of that document. And there is, if you have some kind of reporting, it's fed right away to your reporting tool, so you'll get a more near real-time reporting. This way, your staff can focus more on solving more important problems instead of shuffling those paperwork, and also tenants or your staff or vendors can benefit from this quicker turnaround, and you provide a more reliable service at the end of the day. Any more questions before we proceed to story 2? No? Okay. So story 2 is semi-structured. So receipts are, we know it's one of the most common paper items many organizations deal with. It could be, receipts from those trades in story 1, receipts from your staff, and you collect them from, purchases and travel, and then you hand them in for reimbursement, for record keeping. However, the challenge is that someone has to sort them through, verify them, and then manually key in the important information like the date, amount, could be the last 4 digits of the visa number, key them in manually into maybe SharePoint or into your system. And it takes time, right? And it's easy to make mistakes on because some details there are probably tricky. So our solution here, our goal for story 2 is really to simplify the collection of those receipts by bulk scanning them, and then automate the data capture, and then streamline that reimbursement request, and it also improve admin processing afterwards. So the high-level solution we propose is perform bulk scanning if you already gathered your receipts, feed it into your scanner, and then AI will extract key receipt details like the date, amount, tax, merchant, if you want to capture the last 4 digits, the merchant address, if it's within Canada or if it's for travel. And then it will be saved into your SharePoint metadata, or it can be displayed in your SharePoint Power Apps. So this way, it really reduces, if not, there is no manual data entry. And there is easy tracking because you don't have to worry about losing your receipts because it's already digitized. And then once it's all stored in SharePoint, users can select which ones that need to be or they want to be submitted for reimbursement. And then once they submit it, admin can verify, review them, and process those receipts more efficiently. So let's look at it in action. Let me just share my screen again. Okay, let's jump into the receipts library. And here, again, we'll assume that we've scanned multiple receipts. For this demo, I'm going to scan 4 different types of receipts. Here they are. And the extraction is now in progress. Let me just show you what these receipts look like. Okay, while we're waiting, again, it will take about 30 seconds or less for it to complete the reading and extraction. So if we open it here, so this is a parking receipt. It's a whole different types of structure document. This one here, this is an image, PNG.
Hey, Vanessa.
Yes.
Another question cropped up, and it's adding to the type of document. So Zeb had mentioned about being interested in how it would work with microfiche, which is obviously an older way of gathering data. That's something we can probably explore. I don't know if we have a specific example of that where you can comment to that, but yeah, he's just curious about microfiche if that works too.
Yeah, it depends on if is that your data is coming from microfiche, or is that something you want to just integrate within Microsoft? Sorry, I don't quite understand the question.
Yeah, if you want to elaborate a little bit more, Zeb, I can monitor that channel.
Okay.
Oh, sure. Okay, thank you.
Oh,
yeah. So we do have some like historical records. They are in microfiche format. So I just wonder if all those like AI tools can also help. Just in other formats other than just the paper or documents, if that's feasible.
Good question. AI reads images as well. If those are considered as images like JPEG, PNG, or there's probably some automation to convert the format into something that acceptable or compatible with the AI models, that's possible. Yeah, as long as it's digitized, I'm sure AI would be able to read them. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we can do a proof of concept and see how that format works. Okay. So this is the second receipt, Canada Post. Again, it's a whole different structure. And then we have Costco receipt. So we have items in here. And then we have I believe this is London Drugs. So it's another type of structure in there. So I'm just going to refresh this and see. Okay, it's completed. The extraction has been completed. It picks up the merchant name because I trained it to pick up these information. Receipt date, the total of the receipt, the tax, subtotal, and then I also included extracting the items within those receipts, just so you have an idea of what that receipt is for. So we have some items here, but you don't have to do that. And there was also an idea of extracting the last 4 digits of maybe a MasterCard or Visa, so you know what category it should be. You can add more metadata to this based on the items that it captures, right? So there's more intelligence we can add in here. So
Vanessa,
I have
one more question. I think just to follow up, Karen had mentioned, and again, this is a few minutes ago. So she had asked, so no data entry is required.
That's right. No data entry. It's really up to your business requirements, but so far I'm not doing any data entry. All I did is just scan the papers, and everything else is done automatically. Okay. However, though, it's important to implement human oversight. AI is not 110% perfect. So it's important to implement human oversight where there could be an email sent to you to notify you like, hey, this has been completed, the extraction, please review, take a look. Or maybe there's some kind of a handling where there is a confidence score, which I'm going to discuss in a little bit, where if the confidence score of that field is below 0.5, it sends you a notification so that you can go ahead and check. And verifying, you could manually update the properties. And most of you know about SharePoint properties, the metadata. You can update the information in here if it's not quite accurate. However, it's a good thing to know. If you notice it's not quite accurate, that means you may need to retrain your AI with a whole new set of structure. Maybe you uploaded a receipt that is not familiar to your AI model. So you go back to your AI model here and then feed that new layout and structure in order to improve the accuracy of your AI model over time. Okay. So let's, any other questions? Yes?
Yes, you have up
Hi.
there.
Yes. My question is the as far as the SharePoint structure is concerned, was that also designed by SharePoint?
The
The
structure
metadata,
of,
etc.
oh no, I created these metadata myself.
Okay.
So
Thank
you can create, it's up to you for, say if this is the document that you want to scan and save in SharePoint. So you have the option to, you know what, I don't want to capture the dollar value. I only want to capture the date or maybe the last 4 digits of the Visa card used in this receipts. And then in that case, you create a custom column here. And it can be a text, a number, a date. And then you train AI to, and then you have that workflow where you capture that data and save it to a specific column within your library. So it's custom. You can create your own columns. These are not fixed. I just created them myself, and you can too.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now I have these 4 receipts. I feel like I'm ready to send them for reimbursement. I'm really in this solution, I'm giving users to select which of these receipts that they want to submit. Because sometimes receipts can be, this can be like a duplicate of the previously submitted requests. So that's why I just wanted to have this option for users to select whether they want to submit it or not. So now I want them to submit, and then I'm going to trigger that workflow to submit the request. Okay. So what happens here is it will send out an email to maybe your manager for review or maybe straight to accounting. In this case, it just sent to the accounting as if, but it's sent to me. And it shows a summary of those 4 invoices that I uploaded or submitted, including the total, the receipt date, and then there is a link to view those 4 receipts. So if I click here, it takes me to only see those 4 submitted receipts. And then there is a subtotal, a total in here as well. And you can also add approval requests in here to approve. When it's approved, it goes straight to accounting for payment processing. So it's up to you. This is just an example of the process, but this can be customized, including the email content. Any questions? Okay, so the business value for this unstructured documents is, like receipts, it's tedious to go through those receipts and it's time consuming, and you have to manually enter these specific information into SharePoint into your system. And it's not really the best use of your time. So the key here is if it's repetitive, it's perfect for automation. So let's take advantage of this tool that you already have in your Microsoft environment. Also, the approvals will move faster. Your administrator will gain better visibility into maybe spending in this case. And, moving into streamlined workflows, you can shift your focus on, in this case, financial management and better decision making. If there are any questions, I'll move on to John.
All right. Thanks, Vanessa. That's great. So obviously we've gone through a couple of stories there, and I wanted to jump in at this point to kind of share a little bit from a Spot Solutions perspective on how we can support your questions. I know it's great that our Q&A, we've had several questions come through from Karen and Jocelyn and even Zeb. If you want to explore those questions in further detail, specifically those who put in the chat or other questions that you think of after the webinar, what we would like to do. Oh, yeah, Jocelyn, question.
Hi, sorry to interrupt you while you were
No, go ahead.
summarizing, but I am really interested in this for a number of reasons. It seems like managing expense reports would be very specifically like receipts might be a good use of it. But I'm kind of curious. I find with Microsoft 365, there's often other parts of it that work better for what I want than the one I'm seeing or like more suited to what I'm trying to do, even though there's like a new thing that also could do it. So I'm just curious. We have in our organization, we have like a program statistics that we have our staff collect. And because, we're a nonprofit, we've been using a stack of old Excel templates that our staff fill out once a month. And then we just save them all up and someone manually enters them into our into like a big granddaddy spreadsheet. And I wonder if this AI tool is more suitable for that, or is there something that is like the middleware between one spreadsheet and another? Like, can we link the fields in a way that we could, as we get those monthly reports, they sort of suck the data into a different spreadsheet?
Great question. Do you want to answer a bit of that, Vanessa? I can add to it as well.
Yeah, so it depends on, thinking about you have multiple spreadsheets, multiple people are entering information, updating it, and then you use that data to generate report. That can be automated. We can either move that data in a SharePoint list or a Dataverse, and then take advantage of Power BI, where it can extract more insightful, usable data reporting. So you can only look at the more kind of high-level data, and then other ones we're basically splitting it into data entry and updates, and then high-level reporting.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's an option too if you want to keep using your spreadsheet. That's okay. So there's a lot of options within Microsoft.
Oh, okay. And we've been entering them into spreadsheets in partly due to like accessibility, but meanwhile, online forms like Microsoft Forms have gotten really good. You can tab between all the boxes and stuff. So we're way behind the times, we know, but definitely not attached to the Excel spreadsheets. But anyway, that's really good to know. And I think we'll circle back and have a meeting with you about how we could get your help to streamline that, because we do way too much direct data entry and it needs to be fixed.
Yeah. Well, that's good that you recognize that. And again, I always say this to our clients, you already have the tool, right? Especially if you're using Microsoft environment or tenant. If you already have a Microsoft tenant, you already have the tool. You just need some guidance, right? And how to use it and which tool to use that would fit your needs.
Yeah, definitely.
We have another question.
Hi there, John and Rosanna.
Hello.
Runessa. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Welcome.
So we have a project that is coming up where we have a whole room of papers, like we're talking about thousands of them. So for that type of scenario, do you suggest choosing for us like a specific scanner to upload all the documents?
Yes, if you don't have one already, Automation One, we actually partner with Automation One. They provide kind of most up-to-date scanner. It actually connects with cloud storage and also connects SharePoint. So I think our story 3 is about that. So you basically you need to spend more time looking through your papers and group them by category, and then once you're ready, you feed it into scanner, and then after that, you just forget about what happens next, because everything will just automated. So yeah, that's a perfect example that you have there.
Okay, so is it because it's going to be a one-time project to bring everything digital? This solution vendor you mentioned, are we able to like use them for like a project base instead of actually purchasing the hardware?
I believe so. I think they have like a one like I'm not sure about their model in terms of using their equipment, but I think they have an option for you to use it as needed basis instead of purchasing the entire equipment. But that's
What
a
I
good
can do,
question.
and
Yeah,
just to add to
go ahead,
Tarek,
John.
what I can do with everyone too who are attending is I can make sure everyone has Automation One's contact regarding their printers and scanners. That way, we can you can take it a bit offline, dig a little bit deeper what it is you're looking for.
Yeah, that would
Mm-hmm.
be perfect. Appreciate the answer and the responses. So definitely we're going to do a follow-up after this meeting.
Great. And so just to mention this slide here, pretty self-explanatory, but we have Vanessa is going to move on to one more story. Then we'll have another kind of Q&A session as well. So if there's more questions, we'll do that. But just for sake of time, I think we'll keep moving forward with our slides here. But just one final note of this particular consult, we do want to provide an hour complimentary session for those who are attending, so we can dig deeper, answer questions. We'll have our business analysts with that session with you. I also put in our chat, there's a consult form, which makes it quick and easy to fill out, and then we can respond to you as well. Another way to do that, as it says there, is you can contact me directly, john.ewanis at Spot Solutions, or even info. So there's several ways to get a hold of us in order to kind of dig deeper on these topics, because there's a lot of different ways. We talked about microfiche. We've talked about maybe integration. So these are great things that we're happy to discuss a little bit deeper. We've also discussed the printers and scanners as well. So I'll let you continue on there, Vanessa, and we'll keep an eye on questions as we go.
Okay, so let's move on to our last story, which is unstructured document. It means that your documents have no fixed layout, and it could be like contracts, I don't know, doctor's notes, handwritten paper, right? So here in this example is right now, City of Green still relies on boxes of like physical records or paper-based documents, and their staff has to manually search through files whenever something is needed, and they have to manually track what's been taken out, what's been put back into the boxes, and they use spreadsheets, and they even do like handwritten logs to track those documents. So it's really slow. It creates real risk of records being misplaced or damaged, right? So our goal here for them is to digitize and centralize those records, and then automate again the data extraction, and then enable quick retrieval, and then improve compliance and oversight. So here is our high-level solution, where first you have boxes and boxes, hundreds of physical records in your office. You sort them through manually first, categorize them, and see which ones that are structured, unstructured, semi-structured. And then you will train your AI model that recognize and classify different types of, in this example, these are contracts and agreements or permits, right? And then once your AI model is ready, you perform bulk scanning, and AI will extract those key information that you trained AI to take, and then based on that key information, it will classify those documents, the digitized version of those documents, and that way it will get rerouted to specific document library or libraries, and then now that it's all digitized, it's all accessible, it's easier to now search those documents, filter them, retrieve them. You may have another tracking for retrieval of those documents, or set up permissions of who can access, more confidential documents than those transitory documents and whatnot. Instead of sifting through those physical documents in those boxes, right? So this way it's more accessible now, it's secure, and it's also auditable for if you have to comply with regulatory requirements. If you are using EDRMS, like Electronic Document Records Management System, if that library, the destination library, already has retention policies. So if you can imagine, after you scan those bulk of documents, it goes straight to that library that already has retention policies. So it's already part of your records management system, right? And then you can add some alerts, if there are any new documents that are in low confidence score, you can go through those digitized documents as part of your human oversight process. So let's take a look. Let me jump into the contracts library this time. Okay, so I have a few contracts here, and I'll just, we'll assume that I already scanned one of the documents from those boxes. I'm just going to upload them. And now it's in progress. And what it would do is it would extract, I trained it to extract the contract type, the two parties involved, the effective date of that contract, some kind of a scope of work here, signatory and signatory date and whatnot. So these are just very basic information that I'm capturing for this demo. But let's take a look at what does this document, what does it look like? Let me just open it here.
Vanessa, we have a question
Yes?
that came up a little bit of ways ago from Thomas mentioning, can you email enable document libraries or folders?
Email.
Can you email enable document libraries or folders?
Email enable document libraries. You mean email it? Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Email it and then that attached, you're basically attaching the documents in an email. Is that right?
Is that the question you're looking for, Thomas?
So okay, if my understanding is like you attach the documents and then you email it to, say, a service account, and then the system we can create a flow where the system can pick up that attached files and save it into a library. And then once it's saved into the library, AI will read through the documents, the pages of documents, and then extract the necessary details. That's possible, yes. Okay, let's have a quick look at the agreement that I scanned. So here it is. So we have website development agreement letter. This is very common structure, but contracts can be different too, right? In terms of the formatting. So we have the date, and then down here, there's multiple pages. This is where the signed person and then the date it was signed. So the extraction is complete. We have the information here captured and stored in our SharePoint. And I also added one more thing, email notification. So after the completion of that AI reading and extracting data, you can have an email notification, like a summary of that contract that we just scanned. So it's right here, and then we have the parties involved and all that. So these information are actually coming from the document from here. So the business value here for scanning unstructured documents and digitize it and integrate other business process that you may have, and also scanning those boxes of physical records would protect your documents from, say, loss, theft, or damage, right? And you especially if you need to comply with your regulatory, the privacy and protection of those documents. And also your records are now organized for compliance, for records management, and for reporting. So, and this is now easy to be accessed because it's now in the cloud, and now multiple users can open and view the files simultaneously. And it's not just the files. You probably don't have to open the document every time you want to look what it is about because there's some key information already extracted. So just a quick glance, oh yeah, this is for this company and this company. And here too, I was thinking you can have a renewal notification, like if this effective date expires, 1 week from now or 1 month from now, you want to be notified so that you can follow up and see if this needs to be renewed or this needs to be archived. Okay, any questions?
It looks like, I'm just going to take a quick look at our message board here. I think we're up to date on that again. We'll have some time in the end here to do that as well for more questions. Thanks, Vanessa.
Okay, so let's move on to our partner Automation One.
Yes. So I'm just going to jump in here. As we mentioned, I know there's some questions, Tarek, as well with Automation One. So they're a partner with Spot Solutions. We've known them for quite some time now. So they're a local firm, same just like Spot Solutions. Their head office is here out of Vancouver. So they provide several services and maintenances when it comes to printers and scanners. But they do partner with some of the key brands, I think, that fit well and are obviously key in this particular webinar when it comes to discussing, from paper to digitization. So what I will do is I will share the details and contact details for Automation One. And, if you have questions and you want to dig a bit deeper about, what is the criteria, what type of printer scanner works best in this particular workflow, we can go through that with you. So I will let you continue on there, Vanessa, but just wanted to share a little bit about Automation One.
Okay, so I think we're now on the question and answer portion. So are there any additional questions you may have? Yes.
Upcar, yeah, go ahead.
Hi. My question is about the last one that we just talked about. When it was we sorted the documents, let's say, and we scanned the bulk documents. Now we decide which folder in the SharePoint it goes to, or that can also be automated, that it's the AI sorts and puts the documents in the correct folders or libraries in the SharePoint.
Good question. Yes, we can automate on where you want to finally saved, like the final destination of that file. Yes, it can be in a folder or in a library or into another site. Yes.
Okay.
That can be automated. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, and the important part there is knowing what that document is, because right, you don't know where to save that document if you don't know what the document is about. So as long as you label certain information within that document to identify that this document is a receipt, then we'll go to respective receipt library. So we still need some sort of labeling, so to be able to extract that data. And once we have the data, then the system can make a decision on where to save it.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yes. Go ahead. We have another question.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to ask, how long does it take to train the AI?
That's a great question. I'm hoping someone would ask that question today. So it depends on the type of document. So if you have a structured document like those forms, it can take maybe several minutes to a few hours, because you only provide less sample data because everything is standard, right? However, if you're not satisfied with the output of that AI model, you continue training it, right? However, for unstructured documents, because it may take a couple of days or more because you have to fed AI with more sample documents, more varying format of documents. And it may also require multiple iterations, multiple training iterations. So say, for example, that contracts, you may have different variations of that contract. So you just feed AI with more samples, right? And it may take a few days for it to learn more and get smarter.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, another question I had was, what if you're not scanning documents? If, you're just, or you have people just uploading, if we're not using the printers, for instance, or the scanners, people just know how to somehow get the file into the system. Is there any way the AI can still work and extract information in those cases, or it has to be those, like the scenarios we used were the ones where you bulk scan and things like that?
Yeah, exactly what I did in this demo. I just dropped those files, right? So I uploaded those files, so that works. And those files can come from the manually uploading of files. Like was one question here that if you email files to a certain account, the AI will just, or the workflow will pick up that attachment file and save it into a library, or it could be coming from other process or system. As long as that file arrives in that final destination library, or not necessarily final, but in that library where you have your AI or workflow integrated, then it can read and extract text.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Any questions? I think there was one earlier.
Yeah, don't see a hand up at the moment.
I know there was one question when we were sending out invitation about, is this Copilot? You probably heard about Copilot in Microsoft. So if no one asked, I just wanted to say something that Copilot is different from this AI builder that we are using, because Copilot is just simply your assistant to help you work faster. And it's integrated in your Microsoft apps like your Word, your Outlook. You'll see them in your Teams, right? So you provide instructions to Copilot in a plain language, while AI Builder is more like a toolkit where you train an AI model to automate your process. So that's the difference. Bev?
In the example of receipts, when you're scanning them, do you have to scan them one at a time, or can you have several receipts in one scan? But know how to divide that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I wish Automation 1 is here. There must be some advanced features where the system can detect, like you lay out all the, say, maybe 5 receipts in one scan, and then I guess the system can detect that this is one image, another image. But yeah, I think it would be on the scanner side. But as far as training AI, that's a great question. We haven't seen, multiple images in one file. So that's something we can check with Automation 1. That's a good question. Yeah. Any other paper documents that you may have right now? Yes, go ahead. Tumilayo?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask something and it skipped my mind again. Sorry, I'll ask again, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. What kind of physical documents that you have right now that you're planning to digitize them? I assume they are like receipts, contracts, forms.
We have receipts.
Yeah.
invoices, contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And some of you may, some staff, they take a picture of those receipts on the go, right? So they won't forget or they won't lose the receipts right away. Yeah, that's doable as well.
So I was going to ask so if this is not Copilot, I know Copilot has higher licenses as well. I don't know if that's the term to use, but which AI builder is this then? Is it in Microsoft? Is it?
Yes. So
what is it?
Yeah, AI Builder is part of Microsoft. It's actually within your Power Platform. You already have it in your Microsoft tenant. It's just a matter of using it. Actually, the good news is Microsoft has free trials for AI Builder. You have 200,000 credits to use within 30 days because AI Builder it's a credit-based system that when you use AI, it consumes credits, and then you buy credits to be able to use AI. And right now, there's a free trial of 200,000 credits that you can use if you want to practice and feed some test data and see how it works.
And it's just called AI Builder.
Yes, AI Builder. Yes.
Cool. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to know we already have it.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah. That's why we have this webinar. We just wanted to give you information that this tool is available and ready to use. Okay.
Doesn't look like you have any more questions. And if we do, there's 3 ways to get a hold of us. And we can provide that free consult as well and dig a bit deeper into your questions. One is through the link I put in there related to the free consult. Others just info@Spot Solutions or even just directly to my email. So it is there. I will follow up with everyone as well who attended. And so all this information will be shared as well. I did mention too, this is recorded. That will be shared as well. So you can reach out on how to get a hold of that recording as well. So there are a lot of ways to kind of share this information within your organization. So is there anything else, Vanessa, you want to add on your end?
No, that's it. I hope we provide some insightful information with you today, and we're always happy to walk you through if you have additional questions.
Yeah, thanks for everyone for taking the time to do this, and we look forward to seeing you join us at our next webinar.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.